What's up world, my name is Charlatan and today I'm going to share with you my own personal Valorant aim training practice, warm-up and routine. In this video right here I explain you how you can improve your aim over time and give you some critical information about the aiming in Valorant. But today I'm going to answer on how do I practice my aim, how am I going to warm up for ranked matches when it comes out, and what kind of routine do I personally have. First and foremost, I don't use any kind of external software in any game that I've ever played. I have over 20,000 hours in FPS competitive esports and 50,000 hours in general esports, and I have never ever used Kovacs, AimLab or any kind of external software while I was playing CSGO, PUBG, Overwatch, etc. I tried out those softwares, I know how they work, but I never used them in my routine and my warm-up. I think that every single game that you play, you should always practice inside of that game. That is going to be the most realistic approach to the scenarios and situations in which you are going to come in Valorant or any other game that you play. Yes, these softwares are good for developing your reflexes and snapping on targets. But trust me, every game gives you a certain practice range for a reason. So I highly recommend you to implement and use all of my guides and tutorials inside the actual Valorant, if you have access to the game, of course. Now that I have answered to 100 or maybe thousands of my comments, let's jump straight into the action. My warm-up routine consists of 5 levels, or we can call them stages, and I perform them all inside the practice range of Valorant, so we are gonna go straight into shooting test. You wanna pick Sage as your main agent in this practice warm-up routine. I'm gonna explain you later why. So now you are at your practice range and now your warm-up begins. The stage 1 or the level 1 of my warm-up is usually with some kind of automatic rifle. So I take Phantom or Vandal and I try to practice my snapping, flicking and horizontal aim. In stage 1 I just spawn one bot on easy, medium or hard, and I try to actually practice my snapping, flicking and horizontal aim. So I spawn one bot and then I'm practicing my horizontal aim, left and right, left and right. In this stage I'm just warming up my horizontal aim. I'm going left, going back to mid, right, going back to mid, and I'm trying to kill this bot as fast as possible. You can use spraying, you can use one tapping, you can use any kind of aiming technique that you would like to use. In stage 2, we wanna spawn multiple bots. So we are going to spawn multiple bots that are strafing and hit the practice. So now our bots are spawned. What do? We place one wall here and one wall we can place like here. Then I usually come to this side of these walls and I practice my vertical aim. So I'm trying to practice my upwards vertical aim. So I'm gonna kill one bot down, one bot up, one bot down, one bot up, and I will be strafing left and right. So something like this. If you kill all the bots that are on the walls, just respawn the wall, like simple as that. Respawn the wall, position yourself so you can see the enemies below the wall and enemies on the wall. So you go bam, 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 bam. One target up, one target down, up, down, etc. That is how I warm up and practice my upwards vertical aim, which is really important in Valorant because a lot of agents can fly, can use dashes, can use different abilities. Like, I think we are going to get dragons in this game, like when it's released. So get ready for some Game of Thrones action really soon. We already have the Great Wall of the North, so why not we get some dragons here? I mean, come on guys and girls. That is basically my stage 2. Every single stage I perform for 5 minutes. So I'll do stage 1 5 minutes, stage 2 5 minutes, stage 3 5 minutes, stage 4 5 minutes, and stage 5 for 5 minutes. So my total warm-up routine is around 25 minutes approximately. In stage 3, what you want to do is you again want to spawn the walls beneath your bots, so here and maybe here, I don't know, and you want to spawn one wall below yourself. Now you're going to practice vertical recoil again, the vertical aim, pardon me, but this time you're going to practice downwards movement, so moving from up to down. So you're not shooting down to up, you're shooting up to down. So you're doing this, bam, 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 bam. Basically, when you're just doing this, so when you're just practicing like this is not bad. I mean, this is okay. Like you're practicing, you're spraying, you're burst tapping, you're shifting left and right, or maybe you're standing in place like a Grandma Josephine, and you're shooting just these bots like left and right, and you're maybe doing some wrist movements, some like I don't know what you do, but with this technique you're only practicing your horizontal aim, which is not gonna be useful all the times in Valorant. Like sometimes you're going to be at some heaven position, sometimes you're going to be in some kind of a pit hole. I don't know, like sometimes enemies will be up, sometimes enemies will be down. You will have to perform different kinds of movements. That is why in stage 2 and stage 3 you wanna practice your vertical aim and your vertical recoil. So I practice my downwards vertical aim. If you kill all the enemies that are on the wall, just simply place another wall below them and you are ready to go. So you go bam, 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 bam. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Now you warm up your horizontal aim, you warmed up your vertical aim. It is time to warm up your recoil control and tracking enemies. So for the next 5 minutes I usually burst fire those drones at a distance. So what I love to do is I'm strafing left and right, or maybe walking left and right with my shift button, with my left shift, and I simply burst fire those drones. So like tap 3 to 4 bullets to those drones, try killing them and try tracking them. With this technique you're practicing your snapping and the tracking of these enemies, these drones. It's a really simple stage of my warm-up. Like there is nothing special. Basically I'm just trying to track these moving targets as good as I can. But it's really useful because you're practicing your horizontal, your vertical recoil, and at the same time you're moving and trying to track your enemies. Like it's one of the most useful practices that you can use, especially because they're on a different distance level. So these are a bit farther away, these are like on the medium distance, and you can also shoot these really close drones, like because they are really close, and you can practice various distances, for an example. So that is my 4th stage of aim training, aim warm-up, or aim routine, however you want to call it. And the 5th and final stage, the final level of my aim warm-up routine, is basically practicing all of this, all of the aiming techniques, all of the movement techniques that I've taught you and explained in my aim training guide and my movement guide tutorials. So what I love to do is basically I love to strafe left and right or walk with my shift and try spraying these really close drones. So I'm moving left, right, right, left. Then I maybe switch to the drones that are behind these really close ones. So switch like this, bam, bam. Instead of burst firing, you can also just tap those drones. Try to hit those drones. Try to perform other types of movements. You can also try to control a spray transfer. So you start spraying from this drone, then you transfer it to this drone, then to this drone, then to this drone. Like this, you're learning the spray transfer of your weapon that you're playing. You can use these kind of warm-ups and techniques with any weapon you'd like any automatic weapon. You can use Vandal for an example. So you can also implement a bit of a crouching action. Why not? So you crouch to compensate for your aim and trick your enemies. So crouch, shift. So in stage 5, Basically, you're practicing everything that you've learned so far and everything that you're going to use in the actual game. And this stage is also my favorite because in this stage I can do anything that I like. I can snap to my target. I'm gonna shoot the targets that are on a different distance. It is really good to practice a spray transfer on these drones because they are on a different type of distances. So for an example, the enemies are attacking you on a side of Haven and they're on a different distance. Like they're gonna come from A short, they're gonna come from A long, and they're not gonna, like, it's not gonna be the same. Like you cannot just do this and kill them. You need to perform different type of movements to compensate for your vertical, horizontal recoil, for their distance, etc. So you will do something like this, maybe crouch down, etc. Like you need to think about the situations in which you get in Valorant, in the actual game of Valorant. That is why I don't use external softwares. I want to practice real in-game situations, real techniques, like something that will happen in Valorant. I don't want to practice this whole day, like, so that is the reason I don't use Kovacs and AimLab, but I don't say they are bad. They're really good for developing your reflexes, but I think you can develop a decent enough reflexes in the actual practice range and just playing the game, training the aim inside of this beautiful Valorant game. And as you can see, I'm not really practicing my recoil that much because the recoil in this game is kind of random. After 7 or 8 bullets, your recoil in this game becomes totally random. But if you are having a problem with controlling your recoil in this game, you can still use my top 4 tips for controlling your recoil in Valorant. So the first tip is, when you start losing your recoil, when your recoil starts to go left and right all over the place, crouch down, and that will lower down your vertical recoil and reposition on the enemy's head. So if your crosshair was on the enemy's head and it starts going up, you can crouch to lower down your aim and compensate for that vertical recoil and in the same time confuse the enemy. But while you're crouching, you can also walk because you're still 100% accurate while walking in this game. Walking and shooting in this game is really OP. It's something that you should always practice. Like it's really easy to do. Like it's not 100% accurate, I'm lying to you, but it's really easy to perform these kind of shots. Like it's really easy to hit your targets and hit them with a headshot. My tip number 2 is to pay a close attention at your crosshair, especially if you are using the crosshair that I'm using right now with 4 outlines. When you start spraying with your weapon, you can see that your crosshair disappears after 7, 8 or 9 bullets. That's because your crosshair actually indicates when is your spray control becoming random and when you are entering the horizontal recoil spray control. So there are 2 types of spray control, vertical and horizontal. So vertical recoil in this game is really easy to control. You just pull down your mouse a bit. Horizontal is a bit harder because the spray gets totally random. There is no certain spray control in this game. But as soon as you see that your top outline of your crosshair has disappeared, you know that you entered horizontal recoil and that you should pay a close attention at moving your mouse left and right. Also, that can indicate that you should maybe stop shooting and reset your aim. Like this. You will see me perform these kind of movements, tips and tricks, techniques quite a lot while I'm streaming and doing my ranked matches. So with this crosshair indication, you can either reset your aim and start spraying again, or get ready for some horizontal action, baby, and get ready to kill your enemies. My third aiming tip is, if you already decide to spray with whole magazine of your weapon, so you already committed to all 30 bullets in your magazine, you can use the barrel of your gun to lead your shots. As you can see here, barrel of your gun is actually indicating, it's telling you if you should pull your mouse left or right. If the barrel is going right, you pull your mouse left, and vice versa. to counter this movement and spray pattern of the gun. Pay a close attention. You see, my barrel goes right, I go left, left, right, right, left, right. And that is how I perfectly control my horizontal recoil. So keep an eye on your actual crosshair and keep, I always want to say the second eye, but keep the rest of your vision on your barrel. Try to predict if your weapon is going to go left or right, because your barrel of the gun is telling you that type of movement, that type of spray control. And the fourth tip, which is really important, and I've spoken about this on my streams, but I never really told you in my videos, is if you are shooting the enemies on a close distance, aim at their neck level or head level. So if the enemies are on a really close distance, always try to go for those nasty headshots or aim at the neck level, especially if you want to go into full spray mode. If the enemies are on a somewhat medium distance, you want to aim at their body or neck level, somewhere around here, because your spray control, the vertical recoil will actually pull your bullets up, and you will hit the enemies in the head and easier control your spray. So if you are not a headshot machine, if you don't go for those nasty one-taps, you can always try to spray control your enemies at a medium distance with this technique. So aim at their body level, around here, around neck body level, and start spraying your enemies. If they are on a really long distance, you can aim at their PP, like a PP area, and start spraying right there. And you will be able to hit them with the first like 7 or 8 shots while the vertical recoil kicks in. When the horizontal recoil comes, it's gonna be nasty. Like, it's gonna be really fun to hit your enemies with the spray control on this distance, because you should use like tapping or maybe burst firing on this distance. But I'm just giving you a general advice. If you find yourself using the whole mother effing magazine and you want to kill your enemies on this distance, you want to aim at their PP area, because the vertical recoil of the weapon will actually compensate for your crosshair placement. But this is only used if you are spraying with weapons and you need to predict on which distance the enemies will appear. This is why my crosshair placement during streams can be really weird sometimes. Like, sometimes you will see me place my crosshair at this level when I'm engaging enemies. Sometimes you'll see my crosshair placement here, sometimes here. It all depends. If I predict that my enemies are gonna be on this distance, if they're on a really close, like 5-meter distance, I'm gonna aim at their head level and try to kill them with my spray control at their neck level. If they're on 20 meters, I'm gonna start aiming a bit lower. If I think they're like on this distance, I'll try to aim at their body level to hit them with my spray control in neck or head. And if they're on a really long distance, like, I usually just one-tap my enemies or do a burst fire at this distance. But if you wanna commit with a full spray, like, try to aim at their PP area, and the vertical recoil will compensate for the lack of your crosshair placement. So before every single ranked match sessions, I'm going to perform these types of warm-up and practice routine in order to be ready to destroy enemies in the Valorant rank, because I'm gonna be pushing for that Valorant rank 100%, because I don't really have a plans of going pro in Valorant. I just want to get that Valorant rank, and that's gonna be good enough for me. Like, that's gonna be totally fine. I want to have fun with you guys and girls. I want to stream a lot. I'm gonna do a lot of different kind of things. Like, I don't want to commit myself to another like FPS pro career. I really I think I spent a lot of time in esports. It is time to destroy enemies in bug matches. And that concludes this video, my dear friends. I hope that it was helpful and informative as always. These are the warm-up and practice routines that I perform for my aim in order to get those juicy 40 and 50 kill games on my live streams, in combination with my game knowledge and game sense that I developed over the years in FPS games, which I'm going to cover in my future videos. Remember folks, practice makes it perfect, and hard work and dedication always pays off at the the end. Just don't stop and keep pushing. I hope I've helped you find your own practice warm-up and routine, or you can try using my own personal. But for now, I'd appreciate if you hit that subscribe, turn on those goddamn notifications, and spank that bell icon so you don't miss any new content from me, myself, Shay Letano. Leave a like on this video and leave a comment down below. What kind of routine are you using to warm up and practice your aim in Valorant? Tell me more, tell me, speak to me, baby. You can also share this video and spread the word about this channel with everyone you know. In the description you have a lot of social media where you can follow me for some future live streams and announcements. You can also join my official Discord server. I want to keep in touch with all of you, my dear friends. I'm yours, one and only, Warden of the Valorant community. Thank you for watching and cut!